Is One Tree Hill actually coming back? But without Haley James Scott, over the last few weeks, a rumor has been going around that the show could return in some form. A reboot, a reunion, a spin-off. Nobody really knows yet. And at the center of all the speculation, there's one big question fans keep asking. If there really is a comeback, will both Peyton and Haley be there? Or has the off-screen drama between the actresses made that completely impossible? Today, we're going to look at where this rumor comes from. What's really going on between the actresses? Is One Tree Hill coming back without one of its core characters? And would that even make sense? And all the wild behind-the-scenes drama this cast went through that we know today thanks to the podcast Drama Queens, hosted by the three lead actresses. Cults, divorces, horrible abuse of power, and some allegedly illegal stuff that happened to a group of actors who were barely even adults at the time. Welcome to Cinemoo, and let's dive in.
Oh, God!
Hold on. Before we dive into the juicy drama stuff, let's hit pause and talk about something bigger. Why One Tree Hill became a cultural obsession for so many of us at the time. Back in 2003, where low-rise jeans were everywhere, flip phones, those ones, ruled, and teen shows like The OC were blowing up. Literally, all those teen dramas we absolutely ate up back then. And then One Tree Hill arrived on the WB, a basketball drama set in a small, fictional town called Tree Hill. By the way, I didn't even know that it was a fake, like fictional town until I was like 20, but my bad for being too European, I guess. At first, the ratings were not amazing, but somehow the show lasted 9 seasons, and it ended up defining a whole generation, and honestly, it still does, because yes, it's still streaming, even by the new generations. What made it different was the vibe. No vampires, no super rich beach houses, just a small town. Real people, real problems, 2 brothers with major daddy issues, that outdoor basketball court, that funny fact. It was inspired by the gym where Michael Jordan played in high school, same as the number of Nathan jerseys. The show felt rougher, more lived in, not shiny or perfect like the OC, even though I would absolutely love to see Seth Cohen on One Tree Hill, but hey, you cannot have him everywhere, so yeah. But One Tree Hill did feel more real, let's say, to us poor people, to us humble humans without superpowers or mentions. We like representation here.
I can't breathe. There's no room with Chris's ego. Can we go?
Okay, quick recap time. You can't really explain 9 crazy seasons in 2 minutes, but if you somehow missed One Tree Hill, here's the basics. One Tree Hill is basically a teen drama set in a small town. It mixes basketball, love triangles, and a lot of feelings. And honestly, for most of us, that's why we got hooked. Season 1 starts with 2 half-brothers who hate each other because of the father, Obesley. The oldest Blandy, Lucas, the one that didn't get accepted by his father, is the quiet, sensitive kid. He grows up with his single mom on the poorer side of town. Nathan is the opposite. He's the popular basketball star, confident, arrogant, and under a lot of pressure from his dad. They end up playing on the same high school basketball team. So yeah, family drama on top. Then things get messy. Lucas falls for Peyton Sawyer. How at the time was Nathan's girlfriend. She's quiet, sad, always listening to music, always drawing. Very tortured soul energy. Then we have Haley James, Lucas' BFF. She's smart, kind, and tutors Nathan. How approached her at first, just to get at Lucas. But somehow Haley fixes their relationship and also fixes Nathan's heart. Burke, I don't know why I said that. Anyway, enough about those boring people. Let's talk about the real star of the show, Miss Brooke Davis herself, the one who carried the show, the one who wasn't even in the pilot at first, and still ended up becoming the face of One Tree Hill. She starts as the rich, popular girl, Peyton's best friend, and then, unfortunately for her, she ends up being Luca's girlfriend for a while. Brooke grows more than anyone else in the show, in my opinion, even though, to be honest, Nathan from the first seasons has one of the best character development, but I just love Brooke Davis too much to give anything away to any other character. So yeah, she had the best glow up. I mean grow up. Same thing. She builds her own fashion brand, clothes over bros. She goes through breakups, betrayals, trauma, and loss. She survives things no one should go through, and still, she stays strong, funny, and stylish. Brooke is the one who gives the best lines of the show. Sophia Bush plays her perfectly, and by the way, I saw some people on TikTok saying that they don't know who Sophia Bush is because of some drama with I don't know who, and I don't know why, and I don't care actually. Like, honey, educate yourself. You don't know what you're missing out. Please learn who this gorgeous woman is. Not just for One Tree Hill, but a big part of it. The show runs for 9 seasons. Basketball slowly disappears, and the drama gets bigger and crazier. We get weddings, breakups, car crashes, comas. There's even a school shooting. Nathan's NBA dreams rise and fall. Haley becomes a singer for a while. Just a lot. So yeah, the show starts in a pretty realistic way. Very teen drama, normal problems, high school life. Some things are a bit exaggerated, of course, but at the same time, you can still relate to it. It feels real enough. And honestly, that happens with a lot of long-running shows. They start normal, and then, over time, they go completely crazy. You've seen it before. Shows like Riverdale or Elite. They begin with something realistic, and then they just explode. They go in every direction possible. Speaking of exploding, should I make a video about the OC? Yeah, okay, bad joke, but if you get it, you get it. I don't care. And obviously, you cannot talk about One Tree Hill and do a mini recap without talking about the relationships, which were the whole point of the series, if you really think about it. You know what really connects all these toxic One Tree Hill relationships together? It's not just the drama on screen. It's the fact that, behind the scenes, so much of it was painfully real. Let's go back to Brooke and Lucas for a second. On paper, they're just another messy teen couple. Party girl falls for the boy next door. Everything gets complicated. People get hurt. Classic CW energy. But when you rewatch the show, knowing what was happening in real life, it hits completely differently. Take that famous scene where Brooke looks at Lucas and basically begs him, "Why won't you let me in?" She's not just doing a cute little teen drama monologue. You can feel that she's actually breaking inside. And when you know that, in real life, Sophia Bush had just discovered that Chad Michael Murray, the guy playing Lucas, and her actual husband at the time, cheated on her. That scene becomes brutal. Suddenly, it doesn't feel like acting. It feels like someone working through a real heartbreak in front of cameras, in front of a whole crew, with the person who hurt her standing right there. And that's one of the reasons fans have talked about Bruce's for years online. People still write fanfics, make edits, post threads, argue in comments, because it wasn't just a cute ship. It felt raw and unfair. Brooke gives so much, and Lucas never really chooses her completely. The audience saw that. People have been saying for years, Brooke was never the second choice. She was the best choice. Lucas just didn't deserve her. On the other side, you have the family mess. Dan, Keith, Lucas, Nathan. Again, it's not just TV drama. It's about breaking cycles. Dan and Keith hate each other because of old choices, ego, jealousy, and parents who messed everything up before they were even born. That poison goes straight down to Lucas and Nathan. These two start out ready to kill each other over basketball, over girls, over dad. And yet, somehow, they're the ones who finally stop the pattern. They choose to be brothers. They choose loyalty. So you get this contrast. Romantic relationships that are messy, sometimes toxic, sometimes based on real pain. And then this brother storyline that shows growth and healing. And fans connected with both. People related to Brooke being the girl who gives everything and still gets treated like a backup. They related to Lucas being confused and emotionally stupid. They related to siblings trying to escape their parents' damage. That's why these relationships stayed in people's heads for so long. It wasn't clean. It wasn't perfect. It felt way too close to real life. And honestly, after everything Brooke went through with Lucas, with her family, with all the betrayal and heartbreak, it makes total sense that fans wanted better for her. And personally, after all that, I was so happy with the man she ends up with in the end. I'm not going to spoil him here, in case some of you weirdos still haven't finished the show yet. But yes, that relationship is the best one in the whole series to me.
And what are your plans after high school? After high school, I have cheer practice.
Can you imagine going to your boyfriend's place? He's not there. You sit at his computer. And then you find out that he has been watching on his computer your best friend's live for a while. And even more horrible, he is with her right now, together, confessing shit. And it's weird. And you know what's happening, right? It's horrible. Yeah, pretty much. And that's exactly what happened to our poor little Miss Brooke Davis herself. And that's the thing with One Tree Hill. It's not just about parents, sons, and brothers. The friendships are just as intense. You've got Lucas and Haley, which is actually a pretty healthy friendship. And then you've got Brooke and Peyton. When I was a kid, I prayed to the gods to never have a friend like Peyton. As an adult, still praying. Yes, she's been through a lot. She's messy. She doesn't always know what she's doing. But Brooke did everything for that girl. And then Peyton falls for her boyfriend. Of course, you cannot control who you follow, but you can control your actions, especially if it's towards your best friend's boyfriend. People always bring up that tape Brooke made with Nathan while he was dating Peyton. That was awful, sure, but we didn't know about it at the time of the betrayal. And honestly, it feels like they added it just so we wouldn't fully hate Peyton. For me, it didn't work. What she did to Brooke is still awful. And of course, it's easy to blame the other girl, but Lucas is just as bad. You're the one in the relationship, you're the one who's supposed to be faithful, and you're not. By the way, how can you not be faithful to this woman? Look at her. So yes, I blame Lucas more overall, but for the destruction of the Brooke-Peyton friendship, I mostly blame Peyton. Be careful who you call your best friend. On the opposite side, there's a friendship I absolutely love. Haley and Brooke. They start as almost enemies and end up super close. It's like an enemies to besties arc, and we don't see enough of that in shows. We all know that one friend we couldn't stand at first and now can't live without. I loved One Tree Hill for showing that kind of relationship too. The show is full of different bonds. Romantic relationships, messy situationships, and friendships that either fall apart or grow up and become really strong. You've got the golden couple, Nathan and Haley, who, as the actresses joked on their podcast, probably stayed together mostly for the kid if you look at the whole story from a distance, but still, they're the perfect couple of the show. After Brooke and you-know-who, and you have friendships like Brooke and Peyton that start out toxic and end up more mature and loving, even if Peyton doesn't show up in Brooke's wedding, which is weird. If anyone should have been there, it is Peyton. But there is a very good explanation to the behind the scenes, which we'll get into in a little bit. Point is, One Tree Hill is built on relationships. They're messy, dramatic, often toxic, and that's exactly why 9 seasons later, we're still talking about them.
What is your name? Haley. I don't like that name. Let's call you Rock.
Those characters felt like family, right? Helped us through heartbreaks, growth, all of it. I mean, after all, it was 9th season. But behind the camera, a whole different story. Dark, ugly stuff that makes your stomach turn. Let's get into it. Mark Schwann, the man that seems the perfect example to me. That sometimes you just have to yeet it mame. The guy who created One Tree Hill. The showrunner who turned a small town dream into a nightmare for so many.
He sets in and you realize that maybe your married 45-year-old boss shouldn't be so interested in the young women who work for him, and that maybe all of your other bosses who are really lovely and whose families you adore shouldn't look the other way.
His behavior? Straight up abusive. Harassment that went on for years. Unwanted touches, grabs, late night calls confessing creepy crushes. Manipulation too, pitting the women against each other so they wouldn't team up for better pay or support. Threats when they pushed back. I'll ruin your career, fire you, make you regret it. A toxic work environment where young actors, mostly in their first big job, felt trapped, scared, exposed. Bikini scenes shoved in constantly, even when they said no. I mean, that psychopath even had like a whiteboard with a sick collection of all those very, very much young women who just wanted to do the job and go home and whatever in bikinis that he put in his office. And mind you, that man had a wife and kids the whole time. Honestly, some people are just incredibly disgusting. He makes me want to puke so much you don't have an idea. He'd guilt them, lie, control everything. Basically, he assaulted and abused his power, that little piece of diarrhea. And I feel so sorry for those women because that kind of power trip doesn't just mess with your day, it scars you.
Does Brooke Davis have to slap a bitch?
Hilarie Burton, Peyton herself, hit her breaking point after season 6. Years of this crap wore her down. She talked about it later in the podcast that Schwan grooming her as his muse, using her as a dumping ground for his twisted secrets while harassing others. She finally walked, and after a serious conversation with Moira Kelly playing Karen, Luca's mom, she finally decided to choose herself. But Schwan, he spun it dirty, as always. He told media and fans that she demanded too much money, refused to come back, spread rumors she did drugs on set, badmouthed her to new bosses. That's why Peyton never shows up for Brooke's wedding or even the finale. Not her choice, just his smear kept her away. Fans blamed her for years, not knowing the truth.
I mean, people have been upset with me since I left the show,
Yeah,
right? So it's like,
Yeah,
there was nothing
fair.
to lose.
And like this wasn't enough. Another person on the crew was struggling with something very complicated. Bethany Joy Lenz, playing Haley, spent a whole decade in what she calls a Bible-based cult. Yes, in a cult, which started as a study group, turned into control, isolation, pressure to obey, even moving to their compound. Hid it all through filming, acting normal, while inside it gripped her tight. Only broke free after the show. Co-stars tried rescuing her, but she was deep in. Impact? Huge. Rewrote her life. Her choices left marks that took years to heal. But here's the turnaround. Sophia Bush, Hilarie Burton, Bethany Joy. They started a podcast called The Drama Queens. Rewatch, reclaim. Named it Drama Queens to flip the script on Schwan's insults, his threats to label them divas. They spill the real stories. The pain, the fights, the healing. Bring on guests like Moira Kelly, who quietly shielded them back then. It's them taking back their show, turning poison into power, telling the truth, finally owning the legacy, helping fans see the full picture.
What is your best memory of Dan?
I don't know. Day he went to prison?
So what happened between Hilarie and Joy? Fans started suspecting a fallout in early 2024 when they noticed Hilarie Burton and Bethany Joy Lenz were no longer following each other on social media, and Hilarie was absent from a new Drama Queens YouTube launch video. Around the same time, Joy announced her memoir about being in a cult during her OTH years, and Hilarie posted a quote about imitation not being the sincerest form of flattery, which fans read as shade and used to fuel feud theories. Joy later addressed the rumors directly on Call Her Daddy and other interviews.
Fans are speculating that things between you and Hilarie are not great.
I love Hilarie. I have always and will always, and I don't have any problem with her. There have been some bizarre misunderstandings that I really hope we can figure out one day, but I love that girl.
And called the feud talk a misunderstanding. She said very clearly that she loves Hilarie, has always and will always love her, and that there are just weird misunderstandings she hopes they can work through someday. She has also talked about how her time in a controlling religious group, which she now openly calls a cult, affected how she related to her castmates back then, which gives extra context for past distance or awkwardness. And the big question, does this kill the chance of a revival? Right now, there is no official revival announced. Only cast talk about being open to some kind of reboot or return if creator Mark Schwan is not involved, after the cast publicly accused him of harassment and abuse of power. In recent convention clips, cast members say there are early conversations and that it's too early to know who would be invited or involved, suggesting the door is open in general.
Please, God, get me through this. I promise I will never drink again.
One Tree Hill started as basketball bros in a small town, turned into family we never had. Messy fights, big loves, growth that hurts but heals. It's not perfect, far from it, but that's why it sticks. Lessons on family, friends, second chances. They age with you. Rewatch as a kid for drama, as an adult for wisdom. Fans kept it alive. Show survived the shadows. People leave, but One Tree Hill stays. Honestly, in my very personal opinion, this show kind of glued into our minds that classic cliche version of the American high school experience. And maybe it's not like that for everyone, but from what I've seen and heard, especially among Europeans, which is the only group I can really speak for, that's the vibe it created. You know what I mean? Anyways, thanks to One Tree Hill for existing and helping a lot of people to understand what is going on while we were growing up. And thanks to you for listening to this video. If you liked it, please like, comment, and subscribe. It helps a lot. You can also join us in other social media. Okay, so see you next time. Bye-bye. Oh, and one last thing. I love you, Brooke Davy.